Whenever you're ready.
All right. A simple U-turn may have saved his life and many others. Maurice Corrette was driving drunk down a highway with an open bottle of Grey Goose vodka in his car, and also in his car he had a loaded AK-47, 2 loaded handguns, and a katana, which is like a samurai sword type of thing. And so he made the U-turn and it started a police chase, and then he ran over some spike strips, crashed in the parking lot, and eventually they had to use mace to subdue him because taser was ineffective because of the Kevlar vest he was wearing. And they later found out he was on his way to a man's house who was pressing charges against him for stealing his cell phone. Maurice Corrette had a promising football career going for him, but that was quickly replaced by drug abuse and other illegal activities. I've kind of experienced wasted talent like his, obviously not as severe, but in high school I've had many friends that didn't want to work hard. They're very talented, incredibly talented kids, but wouldn't put in the work. They'd rather play Call of Duty than go to a morning workout. Corrette was locked for the Heisman Trophy. He was locked for a potential or a first overall draft pick, but he threw it all away. So today I'm going to talk to you about how he was a standout football player, and more importantly, I'm going to focus on how he lost control of his career. So in football, he went to Ohio State University, and he was, as a freshman, he ran for 1,237 yards and 18 touchdowns, according to ESPN, Ohio State's page on ESPN.com. And he led Ohio State to the national championship game against the Miami Hurricanes, where he made one of the most incredible plays I've seen in football. I don't do it justice when I explain it, but I'll try. So Ohio State had the ball, and they threw an interception, and Miami safety's running down the sideline, and he tracked him down and stripped the ball from him so Ohio State could retain possession. And he eventually scored on that drive, and then went on to score the game-winning touchdown in double overtime. It was an incredible game. And at that moment, his life was at an all-time high. And that soon turned around as his time at Ohio State was troubled with many incidents. He was often seen yelling at coaches and teammates on the sidelines, and he eventually moved to Los Angeles after he was released from the team. But in 2003, he was the center of an academic scandal at Ohio State when one of his teaching assistants said that he was receiving preferential treatment from his professors. And then again, he was released after he made a false police report that $10,000 worth of CDs, clothes, stereo equipment was stolen from a car that he was borrowing from a local dealership. Sounds like improper benefits to me. So he moved to Los Angeles after he was released, and he had some troubles with the NFL. He sued to be included in the 2004 NFL draft, going against the rule that a player has to be 3 years removed from high school before they can play in the league. And initially it was ruled that he could play, but then that was overturned in the Supreme Court. And the unfortunate thing for Corrette is that after he was released from Ohio State, he signed an agent, and then he couldn't enter the draft, so he tried to be reinstated back into the NCAA, but they wouldn't let him because after you sign an agent, you're no longer eligible. So he had to wait a year to become eligible for the NFL. And in 2005, he worked out at the NFL Combine and ran a terrible 40 time. It was like 4.82, which is pretty slow for a running back. And the media started calling him slow-mo, and then he refused to participate any further in the draft. And much to everyone's surprise, he was drafted by the Denver Broncos in the 3rd round. But after further incidents, he was released from that as well, without ever playing a single down in the NFL. So after his football years, he had over $1 million of debt, according to the Miami Herald, from his agent and his fight with the NFL. And the crime started. In January of 2006, he robbed 2 people at gunpoint with a 45 caliber gun and stole their cell phone. That was the incident, the whole U-turn incident I told you about. And then in September of 2006, he was the judge. He went to court, and the judge set his bond at $5 million, and then he was sentenced to 7.5 years behind bars. So he hasn't played football since then. So in conclusion, Maurice Corrette had tons of potential. He was a stud in college. He was a lock for the Heisman and many other awards. but unfortunately his football dreams turned to a life behind bars. And what I've learned from Garrett's situation is that you have to stay focused on your goals, and you can't lose sight of what you want to accomplish. I'm going to leave you with a quote from writer and actor Chaz Palminteri. He says, "The saddest thing in life is wasted talent, and the choices you make can shape your life forever."